In the previous video, we hooked Streamline up to an Ethernet using an Ethernet blade and installed a TCP/IP stack to a point where we could ping it. You can see the ping running in the right window down below, and the left window is the output serial output log. Today, of course, being able to ping it while it is cool is also completely utterly useless. So today we are going to turn that into a complete web server. Stick around to the end of this video and you will be able to do that as well. So hello viewers and welcome to another STM32 World tutorial. As usual, please do check the description down below. If I make any mistakes in this video, I will add corrections down there. I'll also add chapters and I'll add links to all the source code or the hardware that is used in this video. So please check the description. And while you're down there, please do like and subscribe. It means everything for a small channel such as this. Now, it is possible to include the files you want to serve in the web server. You can include that in the source code, but I don't really like that idea. So instead, I'm going to take the setup we have, Jolt Connect, which is an ST-Link equivalent, STM32F407, and an Ethernet module with the Ethernet connection here. And to that mix, we are going to add this, which is an SD card. Up there, the SD card. So we're simply going to plug that in. That is, there we go. So now we have the Jolt Connect, we have the F407, we have the Ethernet, and we have an SD card. And that is going to be the foundation for our web server. Before we start looking at code, I have taken the SD card. Probably hard to see if I'm that small. But I've taken the SD card and I'm just going to plug that into one of these USB converters here, and I am going to hook that up to my desktop, which is USB device detected, it says, and you can't see that because I'm covering it. So let me, hang on. Here we go. We have the SD card and I'm going to open that SD card. It ended up on the wrong monitor, so here it is. And you can see on this SD card, I have created a folder called www, and in that folder, I have 3 files. I have an index.html, I got a fab icon, the icon, and I have a style sheet. And that is pretty much it. So let me remove that and hook it all up, and I'll be right back. And here we have the complete setup. You can see the Ethernet cable connected to the Ethernet blade and the SD card inserted into the SD card blade. So I have fired up STM32 Cube MX in a new project which I call SLMCU STM32F405 ETH HTTP, and that will serve as the foundation of our web server. Now, the first thing I have done in here, changes, is that down under connectivity SDIO, I have added an SD 4-bit wide bus. And the I/O pins for that they're basically up here, and there's 2 down here, are the default, and that matches what we are doing on the SD card blade up. It was up there. So that's pretty much, I'm also enabling DMA for the SDIO because the FatFS will actually use that. Next up, that was all the changes there. So we go down on the middleware where I have enabled FatFS here. FatFS, I have pretty much enabled all the features that you can enable in FatFS, and under the advanced setting, I am using the DMA template that speeds up the FatFS quite a lot. And finally, on the platform settings, I have added a GPIO input on PC 14. That's the default on the SD card blade, which will be the SD detect. So it will go high when, or is it low? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Whenever the SD is inserted, so you can check from software whether there's an SD card or not. Finally, down under LWIP, I have gone. Nothing has changed from the ping video, but over under HTTPD, I have enabled HTTPD, and I mean, I'm not going to all the settings, but it is essentially just standard. The only change that I am making is that, where is that here? Nope. Custom files. I have enabled custom files and dynamic file read. Those two options. Otherwise, LWIP will expect a C file with all the binary encoded files in it as variables. That is possible, but if you enable these two down here and the custom FS data, those three options down there, then it can use FatFS. So that is pretty much all the changes I have made in here. So I will generate the code and see you shortly in CubeIDE. In the last video, I was copying or creating the ping as I went along. I can't be bothered to do that in this video because there's too many changes. So I'm going to instead talk you through what changes I have made. I will link down below. I will link a couple of the earlier videos, and I would strongly recommend that you go and check those out. This is based on, I did a STM32 F407 SDIO SD FatFS that has been covered in another video. So go and check that video out. There's probably a few more, but I'll link them down below, all the relevant videos, and you can go and watch those videos as well. So if we look, most of the changes are actually done in here in the main C, is basically related to getting the SDIO up and running. And if we look at this, STM32 CubeMX include the FatFS header, and I actually don't think this LWIP I included. I don't think that HTTPD is necessary. Let me try to comment that out. That was an experiment. It is, because I'm initializing it. So I need that header there. That's fine. All this is standard. Now, from the SDIO SD example, what I'm doing is I'm keeping an uptime data that I update every second that actually keeps the total uptime that this board has been running, and I'm maintaining a boot counter. I have simply copied that stuff over in this one, just basically to prove that the SD card is working. Now, I have also added this BSP SD is detected, which is, remember when I was in CubeMX, I was showing that SD detect pin, and this one, read that pin and check if there is an SD present or not. And you can see here, it expects that GPIO to be high, then it will return SD present. If it is low, then it will return SD not present. So it's very simple. The initialize, the ETH phi is taken straight from the ping example, no changes there. Down in the main, I will start by printing out the SD card information just to have that. Again, that is taken from the other example. Then I initialize the phi. I wait for the 1500 milliseconds, 1.5 second. I initialize the LV IP stack and check whether it's connected or not. Then I'm going to do a bit of stuff with the SD card here. First of all, I try to mount the SD card. If successful, I start the HTTPD process of LV IP. Else, there's no point in starting it because it needs access to the SD card. Now, I also, if successful, I open the boot counter and I increase the boot counter by 1. This is all explained in the other video, so go check that out. It's not highly relevant for this. I also create that boot total uptime file if it is not available, and that is all there is to it. Now down in the super loop, it is exactly identical with the previous one. I get the IP address, I print it out, except that I open that, I update that total uptime file. And I'm actually writing all these texts down to a file as well. Not strictly necessary, but it's just to get as much stuff running at the same time. And I remember that's taken from the ping verse. I need to call that LVIP process, and that is all there is to that. Again, let's try to build it. It builds. One more change is necessary because by default, LVIP does not know how to where to find the files and how to read them. So we have added one more source file up in the source folder, which is called LWIP_FS FatFS. And that one contains exactly 3 functions. It contains an open custom. Now these functions are weak inside LWIP, so it doesn't need to be enabled anywhere. It will, but it needs to be overwritten here. And that one will simply open the file based on web root. You get the name passed as a parameter, and I just add www in front of it to find it on the file system. I will have a close custom and I will have a read custom where it reads the data from that file. Those 3 functions need to be created in here in order to read these files from the web server. This is pretty simple stuff. It is mostly just FatFS, so I'm not going to go through the details of this too much. So let's try to run this. Oh, we know that works because we actually did it before. Here we go. And it's got an IP address. Let's see if we got a web server. It's simple. I mean, I would use vget first. So vget -o- just send it to the standard output and try to get http://10.1. I have that IP address over there, 128.47/index.html. That's the file we want to get. Let's see what happens if we run that. There we go. We get the HTML file straight from the FatFS and this whole thing takes 12 milliseconds to get that. That's not incredible fast when it comes to a web server. Now let's try actually to try this in a browser. So let's fire up this browser, and here we do an http:// nope. Let me, oh, I need to, okay. http:// it was 47, wasn't it? Yes, 47. And see what happens if you run it in a web browser. And there we go. Welcome to Streamline. This is the HTML document that I put on that SD card. It's got a test connection. I can connect this to 17 milliseconds. 5 milliseconds. Remember, this one is polling in the main loop, so the timing is not super precise or super consistent. It depends because it is polling. But all in all, let me try to, that's what I wanted to do before. Let's go into this and go over to network. I have disabled the cache. Let's try to reload the page, and you will see that the browser is sending 3 requests. It get the index HTML in 14 milliseconds. It get the style sheet in 25 milliseconds. I believe that one is slightly bigger than the document it is. And I am getting that fav icon, and I'm getting that in 17 milliseconds. So that's it. I have a web server that is running off of an SD card on the Streamline, and everything is running on that system with a simple Ethernet cable hooked up to my network. I think this is pretty cool. I do wish that ST Microelectronic would make a wireless chip that could do Wi-Fi, but I don't know why, but they don't want to do that, or they are unable to. I wouldn't know. But it is possible on this board, and probably our H563 board as well. I will try that at a later time, probably. But it is possible to get TCP/IP web server up and running on this. I might actually do some other videos doing other cool stuff on the Ethernet, the TCP/IP network. I don't know. I could imagine sending some data out to a data collector, or I don't know. I haven't made up. I don't plan this too much ahead. I make it up as I go along. But that's about it. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this. If you want to support this channel, head over to currentmakers.com and look at our Streamline series. It will be linked down below, and have a look at those. And if you want a great development system, go get one. It works. I'm demonstrated this in every single. We're eating our own medicine. Let's put it that way. It is a good system, I believe. And you really should get one. Like and subscribe, and as usual, have a wonderful rest of the day.